here in front of an ocean of blue and white. It certainly provides a silver of light during a week of the most dark times we Jews have experienced since the Holocaust, and for most of us in our lifetime. Please welcome cousin Greg Hurwitz, who's going to sing Al Kolela for all these things. Much of my week was perhaps like yours, watching videos on X, on Twitter, in WhatsApp groups and reaching out to friends in Israel. It felt stupid to ask, "Are you okay?" but it felt appropriate to listen to them. I followed commentators use words like proportionate response. I've heard their concern about the innocent on both sides and urged us as Jews to hold a new moral standard as if we should ignore Hamas's stated aim to not stop until all of us are dead. I imagine your week was similar. It hurts. I can see people in the crowd right now hurt. It's painful and it's simply horrific. But today we come together to feel the connection of Am Yisrael, to mourn those we have lost and those still lost and missing, and importantly to look each other in the eyes and remind ourselves that we are strong. V'ahavta l'recha kamocha ani Adonai, a phrase commonly understood as Ahavat Yisrael. Love of Israel has been translated many ways. What we are seeing here today with Israelis, Jewish Australians and friends from this wonderful multicultural society is that love of each other, deep love and care will eventually spread to all humankind.
Strengthen those who protect the Holy Land, soldiers and civilians alike. We pray, nation shall not lift sword against nation, and they will study war no more. Compassionate God, please arouse your mercy on us, and may the verse be fulfilled. From the seed of peace, the vine shall produce its fruit, the land shall produce its yield, and the skies shall provide their moisture.
3 of us were woken by the other girls who lived in our apartment. It was 6:30 a.m., and they told us that Gaza was attacking. We thought they were just being dramatic. Israel always has missiles, what's the big deal? Plus, we live in Tel Aviv. Nothing bad could happen here, right? We thought they were just trying to scare us, until we opened our phones and saw the true horror of what was happening outside.
I'm standing here today to talk to you about love. About love and compassion. On Saturday afternoon, I was standing at the UQ tennis courts, watching my son play tennis, running from side to side of the court, hitting the ball, free of worries and happy, when the messages from my family started popping on my phone. My parents live 45 minutes away from Gaza, so the reality of being bombarded by missiles and having to run to their shelter room was not a new one.
The truth about the story you just told was hard to listen to, but I hope everyone takes away the focus on love and the importance to seek peace.
Thank you all for being here. Shortly before we arrived in Australia, we participated in a music festival near the border with Gaza. On the last day of the festival, in the late afternoon, the sun began to set. Our beautiful girls were jumping in a soft sand, and the sun bathed everything in a soft, pleasant, golden hue. They laughed and smiled, and I thought to myself that this is what true happiness looks like.
I'd like to welcome the Queensland Minister for Multicultural Affairs, the Honourable Leanne Leonard.
Can I acknowledge every single one of the lives that we have seen so tragically lost over this past week? And can I acknowledge and remember each and every one of them? Each and every one of them had a life, however short or long, and opportunity taken to contribute more and to experience more? Can I acknowledge the injured and those that are missing? And by doing so, can I acknowledge every Queenslander, and there will be some of them here today, who knows someone that is included in this group of people, who knows someone who's injured, who's missing, or have lost their lives. To you and to all those impacted by the conflict, where people have lost their lives, been injured, or those who live in fear, we send our thoughts and prayers. We pray for the safe passage of humanity towards peace and hope and love. While this is a difficult time, we urge everyone in the community, the broader community, to remain respectful, and we strongly condemn anyone who would incite violence or hatred across the community. And it has been heartbreaking to hear some stories of that happening, particularly to our young children in schools. All human life is sacred. Peace is a fundamental human right. Queensland, thankfully, is a beacon of multiculturalism. Our state is a rich multicultural tapestry where heritage, faith, and customs are deeply respected.
Thank you very much. We'd now like to welcome the Deputy Leader of the Opposition, Jared Blay.
I'm born here, my family are from Holland, but to the great country we have, to see what has taken place in Australia over the last 48 hours with the hate, the racism, the anti-Semitism preached from people's mouths, is not a country I recognise when they were doing that in the last 48 hours, particularly down south. I want you to know that the signs that we see today, we stand with you. I'm here because we mean it. You can't help be impacted by the other signs that many are holding here today with the children kidnapped. Now, the reason I mentioned Hamas as a terrorist organisation, their rules of engagement of conflict and war, there is none with terrorists. You can't negotiate with terrorists. To see what they've done to kids, to babies, to women, children, grandmothers, grandfathers, ripped out of their homes. I see commentary from politicians saying that Israel has the right to defend itself. Yes, but also Israel has a right and the world has an obligation to ensure Hamas continues no longer.
Please welcome, while you're continuing your clapping, to Brisbane Lord Mayor Adrian Schrinner.
I have a speech, but in times like today, words are difficult, words don't come easily, and words don't seem ever enough. There are moments when ordinary life, and we do have a pretty good life here in Australia, just goes on pause. The things that you normally worry about, the things that take your attention on a daily basis, suddenly evaporate because you realise that there are more important things. And for all of us, that happened last weekend. The news came to us all in different ways, in different times. But when we heard the news of the horror that was unfolding, life went on pause. How human minds aren't designed to cope with such horror. We're not built for this. It's hard to understand, it's hard to comprehend. Some people will say that these things are complicated, but they're not. When I was contacted by Jason Steinberg last week to see what show of support the city of Brisbane could make for the people of Israel and the local Jewish community, it was never a question. we organised very quickly to light up the Story Bridge because there was in my mind, this is not an issue of sides. Whose side are you on? This is an issue of humanity. This is an issue, as Jared Blaze says, of saying no to terrorism, of saying no to the innocent murder of women and children. We mustn't forget that however complicated this world might get, there are some simple truths. And one of the most fundamental, simple truths are that there is never a justification for terrorism. Never, under any circumstance. And people can call themselves whatever they want, freedom fighters, but they are terrorists. If they kill innocent women and children, if they can kill innocents, they are terrorists. And all of us, right across the world, must join hands to say no. Just as we did after 9/11, just as we did after the Bali bombings, just as we did after other terrorist attacks around the world, where we say no. There is never an excuse. There is never a reason. We say no.
Adrian, there's a word in Yiddish. It's a mensch. It means a good little boy. Thank you. Is somebody arguing with me my translation of a mensch? Now I'm at a Jewish event. We're receiving support from places all over the world, and I know she's already received a round of applause, but the Tongan Stand with Israel sign has been held above your head the entire time. And you even angled it to offer shade to our light and audio guy so that he could see his iPad so everybody could hear. Support comes from far and wide, and it also comes from Matthew Shivers from Bridges for Peace.
I was profoundly impacted 6.5 years ago when I first travelled to Israel. Having been a Christian most of my life, I can honestly say that changed my life as much as anything else has ever impacted me. Going to Israel and realising the significance, the beauty, but more than anything, getting to know the hearts of the people, the Jewish people, who I now consider my brothers and sisters. And I'm not Jewish. There's a part of me that wishes I was, but there's also a part of me that's glad I'm not, because I can stand here as a non-Jew and declare and pledge my allegiance to Israel, your future, your safety, your security, that is the right of every man, woman and child on the planet, to live in peace and harmony with one another, to pursue goodness. And I want to stand here and represent the Christian community. The Jewish people, as you well know, most of you, live by the principle Tikkun Olam, which so profoundly impacted me. And for those that don't know, it means that if you can do good, you must. Not you should, but you must, you have to. Well, my plea is to the Christian community. It's not a good idea to support Israel. We must support Israel. We must rise up today more than ever before and declare our allegiance, our support, our solidarity. Because if we can't do it now, when can we do it? God bless Israel and God bless the Jewish people. Thank you so much.
It takes a community to bring something like this together, to correct me when I say something wrong on stage. Somebody before came up, we had a flag, a degel up on the table here. They thought it was a bit schmutzig and wanted to change it for a more modern, clean one. again proving I'm at a Jewish function. But a community requires organisation and representation and leadership. And Jason Steinberg has delivered that in spades this week. He's volunteered dozens of hours to make sure this has happened and to support in particular the parents at schools in Queensland. Please give a standing ovation to Jason.
Thank you, everyone. Hopefully my mother didn't all give you $5 to do that. Can I please thank David for being our MC today and for your leadership, David, throughout this last week. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we've come together in solidarity. We wish we didn't have to. And you've heard from some amazing speakers today, some heartfelt, first-hand experiences of what it feels like to be a Jew, to be a proud Jew, to be Israeli. But we all might be thinking, what can we do here in Brisbane, here in Queensland? Last night I spoke to the Israeli ambassador to Australia, Amir Maimon. And I said, what can we do, Ambassador? He said, you have to stand up. You have to speak out. Jewish, non-Jewish, humanity needs to speak up, needs to stand up against the violence, the hate, the anti-Semitism, the brutality on your social media. Change your social profile to have an Israeli flag. A statement of support. Stand up to the lies. Stand up to people at work, in the school, anywhere where there is hate and anti-Semitism. We heard from all levels of government how much they support our community and Israel. There are laws, as the Minister said, that are bipartisan, that are going to make it criminal to say things like we heard on the steps of the Opera House. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for making the effort to come today, to be here for Israel and the Jewish people that has suffered the worst atrocity since the Holocaust. I cannot believe we are saying this in 2023. Ladies and gentlemen, to conclude today, I'm going to invite Cantor Greg Horwitz back to the stage, who'll be singing two beautiful songs. The first, Oseh Shalom, or in English, The One Who Makes Peace, followed by Yerushalayim Shel Zachav, Jerusalem of Gold.
Shalom.